Prescription drug refills, doctor's office co-pays, you have to shell out the cash anyway. So why not do it in a way that saves you some money on your taxes along the way? If not this year, you might be able to do it next year. Medical educator Dr. Bill Lloyd joins us from Sacramento with some ideas about how you can save twice on your out-of-pocket health expenses. And Dr. Bill, what we're talking about here is what's called a flexible spending account. Tell us about what that is and how we might be able to set that up.
2 words, Richard: free money. By the way, have you done your taxes yet?
I'm in the process.
Well, if you're doing your taxes and you already have a flexible spending account, you're in for a savings. Here's how they work. People who work for a company that offer full-time benefits like health insurance also offer what we call flexible spending accounts. Once you enroll, a portion of your salary, the part before the taxes, is siphoned off, and then you have access to that money throughout the year to cover lots of health expenses that your normal insurance won't take care of. Your employer establishes how much you can contribute. Most of the time it's around $2,000, $2,500. Most Americans chip in about $1,500. And then here comes the good part. At the end of the year, that amount of money does not count towards your total taxable wages, which means you're going to have a savings in your income tax at the end of the year because you're reporting less income.
So it works like the 401k. If your family already has health insurance from their employer, why should they bother to do what you're suggesting?
Well, you know, Richard, no insurance is perfect. And if anybody was watching the CNN special IOUSA, they will learn that Americans have to pay an awful lot for their health care. So any opportunity to save money, particularly as health care expenses continue to grow and taxes continue to grow, represents a good deal. When you join a flexible spending account, you're able to siphon off money that you'll never pay taxes on and use that money as a source for things that you might want that your current insurance won't pay for.
Since you and I are talking about income tax returns, there's always receipts that we're supposed to keep. Do we need to keep that in this situation with an FSA?
You think it might be cumbersome, but actually it's not. Most major companies now run their FSAs on debit cards. So when it comes time to use some of that money, you simply present a debit card that your employer gives you, and that money is automatically taken out of your pay account. There's lots of neat things that you can use that money for that's authorized in a flexible spending account, Richard. Starting off with co-pays. Every time you go to the doctor, you got to shell out $15, $20. Those deductibles. You know, you break your arm and go to the emergency room, you might be stuck for $1,000 or more. Your FSA could cover that. Things like dentures or braces for your children. Maybe you've been thinking about LASIK. As long as it's an authorized medical expense, it'll be covered by your FSA. Things like hearing aids or even alternative therapies, like doctors who recommend exercise therapy and give you a note to document it. You can use your FSA to pay for that.
And in some cases, when you actually do use it, the vendor will actually automatically tell you whether that cost fits into the FSA program. I'm sort of concerned, though, here. If I don't spend all the money.
Well, you're right. You always have to check with your employer regarding your health benefits. It may vary from company to company, but you can save money if you're paying cash because a lot of people will give you a discount if you're paying cash. And you always have to be aware of the things that you're not eligible for, like elective cosmetic surgery. You can't use FSA money to pay insurance premiums. You can't use it for a health club. And beginning in 2010, and here's the big one, Richard, you can't use it for over-the-counter medications, only prescription medications.
And I've got to go here, but if I don't spend all the money, what happens? Quickly.
Well, if you don't spend the money, it's forfeited. But here's good news. Most Americans spend the money, and there's always plenty of ways to do it. Only about 4% end up giving that money back. And you don't have to do it by December 31st. Most employers will give you to March 15th of the following year to use up the money in your FSA. One last tip. You have to renew, you have to re-enroll in an FSA every single year. So when your company has their open benefits program, you got to go right back in and sign up again for next year's FSA.
Dr. Bill, thank you so much, medical educator, helping us understand what these FSA or flexible spending accounts are and how they can help us save some money as well as not pay as much taxes. Appreciate it. Have a good Saturday. If you want to hear more of Dr. Bill Lloyd's tips on Sirius Satellite Radio, he's the host of a weekly program on Reach MD called Office Hours on Sirius Channel 160.